First on 4, Peter Greenaway's series of film tableaux in tribute to scientist Charles Darwin.
Tableau 1, in which Darwin's inheritance is considered. Darwin should always be a bearded and benign figure. Much like the figures of mythological and biblical authority, he has superseded. He should be like a Moses in a 19th century suit, come down from the mountain with new commandments. Darwin was born in 1809, geographically and historically in the very centre of the English Industrial Revolution. His grandfather was Erasmus Darwin, prophetic commentator on evolutionary theory and close friend and associate of many of the very first round of English scientific and industrial figures. These men were professional enough in trade and commerce, but their moral responsibilities always remained amateur ones. It was Charles Darwin's generation of natural scientists and philosophers, and Charles Darwin in particular, who were to take a responsibility for the moral and ethical thinking of the century. Only Erasmus Darwin, with excellent, if ironic pragmatism, could form a scientific club and call it the Lunar Society because it met on every night of a full moon, not on some hermetic preoccupation, but because that way the horses could see to find their way home in the moonlight. Tableau 2, in which Darwin considers a career in medicine. Darwin's first experiment in education was to go to Edinburgh to study medicine. His grandfather and his brother had done the same before him. Edinburgh University was a liberal institution, practicing highly empirical educational methods. Unorthodox ideas concerning the mechanics of life and the universe, considered radical in English universities, were freely debated here with enthusiasm. In official medical studies, Darwin was not an ideal student. He could not develop a stomach for a dissection or surgery, for the necessary confrontation with blood and pain. he ran away in the middle of an operation on a child, and the memory of the event always haunted him. The enthusiasm for study in Edinburgh often went beyond the law. The insatiable demand for bodies, for anatomical investigation, led to resurrecting corpses from the common grave, and, when these numbers did not suffice, then to murder. The setting is always Darwin's study, a book-lined room with a large central desk. Darwin spent most of his working life behind such a desk. This is not an exact reproduction of Darwin's study, but an imaginary composite mid-19th century working place, which may reproduce in essence all the scholarly working places of mid- and late 19th century figures, like Darwin's actual and near contemporaries, Marx, Dickens, Ruskin, Prince Albert, Shaw, H.G. Wells, Tolstoy, and even Freud. By day and by night, there are a great many light sources in Darwin's study: table lamps, candles, candelabras. Placed symmetrically in the wall behind the desk, there are shutters, dark green blinds, and 3 sets of curtains. The lamps and the windows have these various characteristics: to make the light changeable, to sympathetically suit the many moods and events in Darwin's life as he opened up new vistas for himself, and for philosophical thoughts, and for us. Tableau 3, in which Darwin, like any other Victorian English gentleman, shoots anything that flies. Darwin abandoned medicine. His father sent him to Cambridge to become ordained and find a peaceful and harmless sinecure as a country parson, a normal placement for a not very bright second son. At Cambridge, his attendance to theological studies was not strong. Whilst waiting with some exasperation for a token or sign of a personal religious calling, he enjoyed himself. The observance of God and the observation of nature together began to create irreconcilable difficulties. The problems of who made what and when and how began to insinuate doubt in a mind that was preparing for a privileged, quiet life, on a private income, worshipping God. Darwin continued to shoot at every opportunity, convincing his father that he would spend his life being an idle sporting man. English natural historians have found no problem in this set of oppositions. Indeed, a concern for the environment is traditionally supported by recreating it as a space to hunt and kill endlessly.